Several dead, dozens abducted as terrorists ambush travelers in Zamfara. French US nationals test positive for hantavirus. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the news around the world. I am Boluwaji Ogumola, and on the sign language corner is Korede Olule. The federal government, in partnership with the European Union and the World Health Organization on Monday, launched a €4.2 million initiative to strengthen Nigeria's capacity to detect and respond to disease outbreaks. The program, known as EU Support to Public Health Institutes in Nigeria, was unveiled in Abuja at a gathering of health experts, senior government officials, and development partners. The 4-year initiative, funded by the European Union and implemented by the World Health Organization in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, is valued at approximately 6.7 billion naira. The program is expected to strengthen the core functions of selected public health institutions to improve early detection of outbreaks, enhance information sharing, and reduce the impact of poor health outcomes across the country. Speaking at the launch, the Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Salako, described the initiative as a major intervention for the Nigeria's health care system. The National Executive Council of Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has warned the federal and state government running universities to implement agreements with it and fulfill other pending commitments or risk actions that its members may choose to take. The union, during its 4-day NEC meeting in Yola, which ended on Monday with a press briefing, frowned at what it described as distorted non-implementation of the December 2025 federal government of Nigeria and ASU agreement by the federal and state government. The ASU leaders equally condemned the government's reluctance to amicably resolve the lingering issues of the withheld 3.5 months salaries, promotion arrears, shortfalls in salaries arising from the use of the IPPIS platform, unremitted third-party deductions, and arrears of 25 to 35% wage award. ASU President Professor Christopher Piwuna said the increasing frustration occasioned by the seeming government disinterestedness in the welfare of Nigerian academics is brewing a pent-up anger which could erupt into a new wave of industrial unrest if not addressed. The union appealed to all genuine patriots, well-meaning Nigerians, and lovers of Nigeria to prevail on state and federal government to fully implement the new agreement and resolve other outstanding issues in the interest of parents, students, and the nation. The Joint Admission and Matriculations Board, JAM, has retained 150 as the cutoff mark for admission into universities for the 2026 and 2027 academic session. JAM announced this during its policy meeting in Abuja on Monday, where it said the decision followed a vote of vice-chancellors available at the meeting. At the meeting, the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, said that the minimum age for admission into tertiary institutions remains 16 years. Also at the meeting, the minister says candidates seeking admission into Nigeria's Certificate in Education (NCE) programs in colleges of education will no longer be required to sit for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME). Under the new guidelines, prospective students will only need a minimum of 4 O-level credits in school certificate to qualify for admission. According to the minister, the move is designed to ease the administrative burden on the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAM and to enhance the positive orientation towards the teaching profession. Reactions have continued to trail the federal government's directive restraining recipients of honorary doctorate degrees from using the doctor title before their names. Some educationists and stakeholders in the academic sector have described the move as necessary to preserve academic integrity and curb abuse of honorary awards in the country. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurafi has the details.
The federal government's directive restricting holders of honorary doctorate degrees from using the doctor title has continued to generate reactions from stakeholders in the education sector. Reacting to the development, the immediate past registrar of the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, TRCN, Professor Olusegun Ajiboye, described the policy as a step in the right direction aimed at sanitizing the education system and preserving academic integrity. Professor Ajiboye noted that many Nigerians had abused honorary doctorate awards by presenting themselves as academic doctors, thereby making it difficult to distinguish between earned doctorate holders and recipients of honorary recognitions. According to him, some individuals allegedly use honorary titles to seek employment opportunities and gain undue academic advantages.
People now go to institutions, they will go and use resources to get these honorary degrees. And because of that, you now have people calling themselves doctor everywhere. You cannot separate the one that is an academic doctor from the one that is just honorary. So I believe the decision of the federal government and the Federal Ministry of Education is in the right direction. Actually, is to sanitize what we call doctor and who we refer to as doctor. The idea is to sanitize it.
Also speaking, an educationist, Professor Adams Onuka, described honorary doctorate awards as recognitions for societal contributions rather than academically earned qualifications. Professor Onuka maintained that recipients of honorary awards should not adopt them as official titles, noting that many distinguished Nigerians who received honorary doctorates never attached the doctor previous to their names. He expressed concern over what he described as growing obsession with titles in Nigeria, which he said has contributed to abuse and confusion within the system.
People like the late Gamaliel Ononosode have several of such. They don't use it. They till he died, he called himself Mr. Gamaliel Onosode. The same thing with Felix Ohiwere. People go to Mecca in order to have a different title. And then people go to Jerusalem now and say JP. You see, it's just because, and you now confuse it with justice of the peace. You don't know who is Jerusalem pilgrim. And of course, when we come to that one, you know a pilgrim is somebody sojourner somewhere. And then you have come back to your home, you are still bearing a sojourner. Even the honorary doctorate wasn't given by buying, but it's like there are people today, I have seen people who even have professor without really having been to any university to teach.
While Professor Ajiboye called for stricter regulation of honorary degree awards, stressing that universities should adopt thorough screening processes and limit the number of honorary awards granted annually. On his part, Professor Onuka argued that individuals who desire the doctor title should pursue earned academic or professional doctorate degrees through proper study and research rather than rely on honorary recognitions.
The only person that is automatic in terms of award of honorary degree is the chancellor to the university. The only person that is automatic in the University of Ibadan is the chancellor to the university. That's the only person. Every other person will have to be screened and screened very well. And in fact, another beauty that is attached to the University of Ibadan one is that if you cannot come and take that award personally, it is not granted. It is not. I remember that's why Nelson Mandela did not take the honorary degree award of University of Ibadan, because he couldn't make it down that time to the university, in spite of the fact that he was considered and he was given the award, but he couldn't take it because he was not able to come down here. So it's important that these things have to be regulated.
I don't think it's necessary to bear the title that is given to you. It's not the title, it is something to an honor that is given to you. An honor does not become a title anyway. It's just like we call ourselves honorable. You have been in the Senate, you leave Senate, you don't want to be called what you used to be. It's something, not an election. A position you are elected to, you want to hold on to it for life. So I think the Senate themselves should go and rule that no person who had been ex-senator had to go with that title.
The stakeholders therefore commended the federal government and the National Universities Commission for introducing measures aimed at restoring credibility, discipline, and integrity within the nation's academic system. Adebayo Abdurafi, BCOS News.
We shall now take a short commercial break. Please stay tuned.
The home is under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains, no fit do us shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No greed. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go hypo.
Cadbury 3-in-1 hot chocolate, the treat you deserve.
Stay confident, stay focused, breathe through it with TomTom.
Ní ìgbà kan rí, ilẹ̀ kan wà tí kò ní adùn mọ́. Oúnjẹ ti pàdánù adùn rẹ̀, kò sì sí ohun tí a lè tún fi gbádùn mọ́. Ní ìgbà náà ni Taste Maker yọdé láti dá adùn padà sí ilẹ̀ àìládùn yìí. Gbogbo ohun tí ó ṣe ni ó wọ́n, ó rò ó, ó sì bù ú. Láti ìgbà náà lọ, wọ́n mọ òtítọ́ kan. Gbogbo ohun tí wọ́n nílò ni wíwọ́n, rírò àti bíbù.
Taste Maker.
Stay confident, stay focused, breathe through it with TomTom.
The home is under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains, no fit do us shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No greed. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go hypo.
Alright everyone, no put your ears, make we talk. Time don't read to rearrange this house to give una small wisdom. Shots might be fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Before una go talk, say our smell no reach. Make una think I'm twice so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more cover mouth. Because Colgate, that's who do yaga with your smile.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
Suspected terrorists operating around the Dansadar axis of Zamfara State have ambushed commuters traveling along the Magami-Dansadar road, killing an unspecified number of travelers and abducting several others. A resident of Magami disclosed that the incident occurred on Sunday between 4 and 5 p.m. when the attackers opened fire on vehicles traveling along the notorious route. According to him, so far, 10 dead bodies have been recovered. While the spokesperson of the Zamfara Police Command, Yazid Abubakar, said he is aware of the attack. He noted that casualty figures were still being verified as of the time of filing this report. The Gusau Magami Dansada Road has remained one of the most dangerous routes in Zamfara State, frequently plagued by banditry, kidnapping, and deadly attacks by armed groups. Late last year, Governor Dauda Lawal paid a historic visit to Dansada, where he flagged off the construction of the 108-kilometer road aimed at improving transportation and security in the area. Residents of the area often rely on security escorts while traveling to Gusau, the Zamfara state's capital, due to persistent attacks along the route. The federal government has promised to support the Nigeria Police Force with the funds needed to secure the off-season elections coming up in June and August 2026. The Accountant General of the Federation, Dr. Shamsuddin Ogunjimi, gave the assurance during the Inspector General's visit to his office in Abuja. He stated that the government is ready to release approved funds quickly so the police can perform their duties well, especially during the off-season elections. Dr. Ogunjimi also advised the Inspector General of Police to continue discussions with the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy to help speed up the release of outstanding funds owed to the police. According to him, lack of adequate funding could affect important police operations and weaken effort to maintain security in different parts of the country. The Inspector General of Police further appealed to the federal government to release the outstanding funds owed to the police without delay. The Oyo State Police Commander says it has arrested 8 members of a suspected motorcycle theft syndicate operating in Kishi area of the state. According to a statement by the police public relations officer, DSP Anyolade Olayinka, the suspects were apprehended on the 8th of May following a credible intelligence that some individuals were in possession of motorcycles suspected to have been stolen within Kishi town. The statement explained that operatives attached to the Kishi division swiftly mobilized to the area, leading to the arrest of the suspects and to the recovery of 4 suspected stolen motorcycles. Police says a preliminary investigation and interrogation revealed that the suspects confessed to their involvement in the unlawful possession and theft of the motorcycles. Further investigation is ongoing to identify the rightful owners of the recovered motorcycles and uncover other members of the syndicate. Another timeout on the news. Please don't go away.
Confidence is important in life's little moments. Strong teeth can help, even if they get her into trouble sometimes. A great smile is useful to break the ice, and making friends is easier when you know you have fresh breath. I give my family confidence with Pepsodent Triple Protection 123. Its antibacterial action formula gives them cavity protection, white teeth, and fresh breath. Get whiter teeth with a new Pepsodent Natural Charcoal Toothpaste.
The gold standard of rice, the finale. High swelling index, non-sticky, no stones. Big Bull Gold, the gold standard of rice.
In today's fast-paced world, staying ahead demands peak performance from our bodies.
Like never before, our bodies need an optimum supply of essential nutrients, and Supermalt supports our daily nutritional needs.
Supermalt has 20 essential vitamins, minerals, and natural extracts for overall health and wellness. One Supermalt a day gives you energy and vitality, improves your mental performance, and supports your immunity.
The Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, in Oyo State has called on political stakeholders to sustain peace ahead of the 2027 general elections, stressing the need to shun violence and promote credible electoral processes. The Public Relations Officer of IPAC in the state, Engineer Ayodele Omogbemini, made the call while speaking on the BCOS TV Current Affairs Breakfast Program, AM 120. Our reporter, Olamide Owolabi, files in the details.
As political activities gather momentum ahead of the 2027 elections, internal party disputes, defections, and legal battles have continued to shape Nigeria's political landscape. Speaking on the AM 120 program, the public relations officer of IPAC in Oyo State, Engineer Yodele Omogbeminiyi, said the existence of opposition parties remains vital to democratic growth, but alleged that the ruling party has not provided a level playing field for other political parties. He noted that disputes arising from candidate selection processes have contributed to tension within political parties, adding that some politicians allegedly incite the public against traditional institutions and government authorities. He advised aggrieved aspirants to seek alternative political platforms rather than fuel crisis within their parties.
But it is obvious, even to the deaf, it is visible to the blind, that the challenges that is looming at our faces is actually from 1 or 2, 3 political parties currently. And we are saying as a body that don't limit your tent to just 3 political parties. We have 21 political parties today. So if you pitch your tent with a particular political party and it is becoming obvious that you will not get the ticket. So if you want to do migration today, you can still move. So far, before the party will submit their list, value for humanity should not be eroded with anything. We should not compare or contrast it. Peace is innegotiable. We must maintain peace. The democracy we have today was fought by some of our fathers. The words here we are talking about, I was not there, but I heard the stories. I had people who lost their life because of that. So because of political tension, I want to regain power, I want to sustain power, is not enough. In fact, should not be a basis to cause violence within the city, within the community, and the nation at large.
Also speaking on the program, a PDP chieftain in the state, Honorable Josiah Olufemi, criticized what he described as undue judicial interference in political party affairs. Honorable Olufemi alleged that some politicians exploit the courts to deepen internal party crisis, resulting in persistent factional disputes and defections. On the crisis within the PDP, he explained that the Supreme Court had resolved several leadership disputes in the party, adding that the party's alliance with the APM in Oyo State was based on shared political ideology and the desire to work for the welfare of the people.
Don't take citizens for granted. Citizens voted for politicians because they want good governance. If the citizens are not seeing it, one difficult, impossible person might just start a problem and others will join. It's just for one person to lead and start it, and others with similar frustration will join. So when politicians are in power, they need to realize that that power is to serve the people, not to serve themselves, not to perpetuate themselves in power. And like Obafemi Awolowo rightly said in one of his books, that the problem with us in Africa is that of tenacity of office. Once an African is in position of power, he either wants to die there or he wants to forcefully extend his tenure. And what happened in that situation is chaos. Because when people, okay, this is BCOS, a sack is on, the staff is on suspension or sacked, and the staff refuse to leave the premises of the BCOS, what will you people do? You invite the police to come and inject the staff or ask your security to put the person out. So that is what is likely to happen to politicians who wants to force themselves on the people, particularly when the people are not happy.
The stakeholders also advised electorates not to allow themselves to be used as instruments of violence by politicians, warning that such individuals are often abandoned after elections. They urged voters to remain vigilant, peaceful, and vote responsibly during the 2027 elections. Olamide Owolabi, BCOS News.
As part of efforts to tackle food insecurity and other challenges confronting the agricultural sector, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, Oyo State Council, hosted a media parley in Ibadan. The parley was organized ahead of the maiden National Legislative Summit on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions in Nigeria, scheduled to hold in the Oyo State capital. In his welcome address, the chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Oyo State Council, Comrade Akim Abbas, described the summit as timely, noting that it would provide an avenue to deliberate on food security, agricultural reforms, research collaboration, and youth empowerment. Also speaking, the chairman of the Senate Committee, Chief Sharafaddin Ali, said the summit was conceived to reposition Nigeria's agricultural sector through effective legislation, innovation, and strategic partnerships. The event also provided an opportunity for members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm to seek clarification and deliberate on critical issues affecting Nigeria's agricultural sector. Season in Nigeria is often characterized by heavy rainfall, flooding, high humidity, and reduced sunshine. These environmental conditions usually encourage the spread of disease-carrying insects and waterborne infections, leading to an increase in several illnesses during the season. Staff reporter Olubunmi Lawal examines some of the common sicknesses associated with the rainy season, their causes, symptoms, and preventive measures. Here are the details.
In Nigeria, the rainy season usually lasts between April and October in most parts of the country. During this period, heavy rainfall, flooding, poor drainage systems, and stagnant water often create favorable conditions for the spread of diseases. As a result, many people, particularly children and the elderly, become vulnerable to various illnesses commonly associated with the season. A consultant family physician, Dr. Aminat Ashifat Jaduola, explained that diseases prevalent during the rainy season can be grouped into 4 major categories. According to her, these include vector-borne diseases such as malaria and Lassa fever, spread mainly by mosquitoes and rodents. Waterborne diseases like cholera, typhoid fever, and diarrhea caused by contaminated food and water. Respiratory infections such as catarrh, cough, and pneumonia, which are common among children, as well as different skin infections. Dr. Ashifat Jajola added that symptoms of these illnesses often include fever, body pains, weakness, abdominal pain, vomiting, and frequent stooling.
During the rainy season, we have pools of water, flood. That's the time that we see that all our grasses, weeds, they grow very well, and those are the breeding sites for those mosquitoes. So if we make sure that our gutters are cleared, there is no stagnant water, all the drainages are flowing freely, we cut the bushes around our areas, we prevent the breeding site for those vectors. Those that are living in developing area that there are bushes around, they make sure that they cut the grasses away from their house. We have the dengue virus, but they are not common in our environment. We have the yellow fever too. All those ones are also caused by infection with a mosquito called Aedes aegyptian mosquito. But then another one, we have the Lassa fever, which now Lassa fever is almost like is present throughout all the season. It's the rainy season now. Rats, rodents, they live in the bush. But now the bush are wet, so they will want to move closer to the house.
The medical experts stress the need for preventive measures such as maintaining a clean environment, clearing blocked gutters and drainage channels, and preventing stagnant water around homes. She also advised residents to sleep under treated mosquito nets, drink clean or boiled water, wash hands regularly with soap, properly cover food items, and wear warm, dry clothing during the season.
So proper disposal of our refuse and our sewage. To make sure that we wash our hand regularly. We should cultivate the habit of washing our hand regularly with soap and water. We make sure that our food are well cooked before we eat them. We wash our fruits and vegetables very well before we eat them. Then we make sure that we sleep under insecticide treated nets, and if we cannot, if that is what is encouraged on, if we don't have one, we can make sure that all of the drainages in our surroundings, they are free flowing. There is no stagnant water anywhere around us, and we cut the bushes away from our house so that all those vectors that harbor disease will chase them far away from the house. And once the symptoms are persisting for 2-3 days, it is advisable that we seek a medical attention at the hospital so that we can address it on time.
She maintained that proper hygiene, environmental cleanliness, Good health care practices and continuous public health education can significantly reduce the spread of these illnesses and promote healthier living during the rainy season. Olubomi Lawal, BCOS News.
Another time out, please stay tuned.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
Good, tasty food is worth living for. Worried about your oil? Every time you enjoy your favorite meal? Introducing Smart Balance. Smart Balance Rice Bran Oil is rich in Gamma Original. Golden Terra Smart Balance Oil reduces bad cholesterol.
Alright everyone, no put your ears, make we talk. Time don't reach to rearrange this house to give us a small wisdom. Shots might be fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Before I go talk, say our smile no reach. Make not think I'm twice so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?
Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection unlocks 24 hours cavity defense. The formula boost with calcium for lifelong smiles.
Mom, it's a time to brush. No more cover mouth.
Colgate for 24 hours maximum cavity protection.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, enriched with 95% pure vitamin C and pulp extract. For visibly radiant and even-toned skin in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Even Glow, for your shade of beautiful.
The chairman of Al Maruf Oliole Hajj and Umrah Tours Limited, Alhaji Maruf Opatola, has reasserted the company's pledge to offer its clients pilgrimage services that are reliable, seamless, and spiritually fulfilling. He made this remark while addressing the 2026 Hajj Final Seminar for prospective pilgrims under the agency. Our reporter, Adiola Oladele, who attended the event held at the Al Maruf Oliole head office, Somil Odiferodi Ibadan, now reports.
Al Maruf Oliole Hajj and Umrah Tours Limited hosted its final seminar for 2026 bound pilgrims, uniting Islamic clerics, government officials, and community leaders to offer valuable spiritual guidance and orientation to participants ahead of the pilgrimage exercise. In his opening address, Alhaji Maruf Opatola, the chairman, Al Maruf Oliole Hajj and Umrah Tours Limited, highlighted the company's commitment to transparency, integrity, and efficient service delivery in managing Hajj and Umrah operations. He ensured that intending pilgrims would receive thorough welfare support, precise coordination, and a stress-free pilgrimage experience during their entire stay in the Holy Land.
Kí ẹ̀rín ìtọ́jú àti ṣíṣiṣẹ́ àṣepé kí wọ́n máa retí ẹ̀ kí wọ́n fọkànbalẹ̀ kí wọ́n ní àtakò àìbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run tí wọ́n bá sì ti níyẹn kí wọ́n fi ọkàn balẹ̀ iṣẹ́ aláṣepé ni wọ́n ṣe àlọ́ àtàbọ̀ yóò sì dáa.
In separate lectures, Sheikh Abdulbasit Katabi Bello, popularly referred to as Akmole Anobi, and the Chief Missioner of Onola Prayer Group, Sheikh Abdulateef Orimadegun, underscored that Hajj, being a foundational pillar of Islam, requires unwavering sincerity, discipline, and total submission to Allah's divine will.
We pray for everyone that is going to be an Hajj on this year's 2026 Hajj. We pray for them successful Hajj, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all their supplications.
Al-Maruf Hajj and Umrah is a man of integrity. When talking of taqwa and qana, that is the reason why people used to patronize him.
One of the intending pilgrims, who is also the chairman, Lagelu local government, Mudashiru Kamoruddin, commended the honesty and seamless services of Al-Maruf Oluyole Hajj and Umrah Tours Limited.
I choose him because he's an honest person. So what we are there to do, we should make sure we face the real business of the Hajj, which is part of the 5 pillars of Islam.
In their separate goodwill messages, the Argonne chairman, Sikiru Sonda, and the Oyo State Commissioner for Public Works, Architect Mojid Mugojubola, advised the intending pilgrims to be intentional about their acts of worships and uphold values that reflect the true teachings of Islam. The event also featured recitation from the Holy Quran and special prayers for a safe and successful pilgrimage. Adiola Oladele, BCOS News.
Another time out on the news. Please stay tuned.
Oh, remember how mom used to wake up before everybody to make breakfast, iron our uniform? Let's surprise that woman with something special.
Treasure Mom this 2026 with a trip to Zanzibar in the 3 Crowns Mom of the Year competition. Write a note using each letter in your mom's name and upload with a photo of 5,000 Naira worth of 3 Crowns products on our website or at any of our collection centers. T's and C's apply. 3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
Let's join Victor Opone for the latest sport news.
Joining us on the sports segment of the news, I am Victor Opone.
We start with the news that Ukrainian tennis player Elina Svitolina has said it was painful to see the International Olympic Committee, IOC, clear the path for Belarusian athletes to return to the global stage under their own flag, while Russia's war against our country rages on. The IOC had recommended that Russian and Belarusian athletes be banned from events since 2022 following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Belarus has been used as a staging ground for the invasion. However, the IOC said last week it no longer recommended restrictions on the participation of Belarusian athletes and teams in events governed by international federations and international sports event organizers. Svitolina was continuing to boycott the post-match tradition of shaking hands when she faces Russian and Belarusian opponents, said the decision was difficult to process given the ongoing conflict. While they are banned from team competitions, Russian and Belarusian tennis players have continued competing on the professional tours as neutrals without national flags or anthems. The governing International Tennis Federation said that the IOC's announcement did not change its position regarding the suspensions of the Belarus and Russian tennis federations. Over now to football, where Juventus have a keen eye on the Premier League as their summer transfer plans begin to take shape, while the fight to retain Dusan Vlahovic continues. Uncertainty surrounds the future of Vlahovic as negotiations over a new contract remain unresolved. The Serbian striker has recently rediscovered his form, finding the net in each of Juventus' past 2 matches and playing a decisive role as the club continues its push for Champions League qualification. The race for Europe remains wide open, with Juventus battling alongside Milan, Roma and Como for 2 remaining spots, keeping the pressure high heading into the final stretch of the season. Mikel Arteta has praised referee Chris Kavanagh and the VAR officials for their brave decision to disallow Callum Wilson's equalizer for a clear foul in the final seconds of Arsenal's contentious 1-0 win at West Ham on Sunday. Arteta's side looked as though they had suffered a huge blow in the Premier League title race when Wilson slammed home in stoppage time after Gunners keeper David Raya dropped the ball. But Kavanagh eventually disallowed the goal for a foul by Pablo on Raya after being advised by the VAR officials to consult the pitchside monitor. West Ham United were furious with the decision, but Arteta claimed justice was done. The controversial decision left Arsenal on the brink of winning the title for the first time in 22 years. They sit 5 points clear of second-place Manchester City, who was Crystal Palace for their game in hand on Wednesday. The North London club will be crowned champions if they beat Burnley at home on May 18th and win at Crystal Palace on May 24th.
And with that, we have come to the end of the news from the ever exciting world of sports. Thank you for listening. I am Victor Opune.
Thank you, Victor Opune. Now to the foreign scene. A French woman and an American man have tested positive for hantavirus infections as countries around the world repatriate passengers from a cruise ship hit by a deadly outbreak. Foreign Desk Editor Folashade Akintola compiled the story and others as presented by Khadija Lawal.
French Health Minister Stephanie Rist said today that a French passenger who was on the MV Angels cruise ship tested positive for the virus and her condition was deteriorating, the press reported. Another 4 French passengers have so far tested negative and the authorities have identified 22 contact cases. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services said on Sunday that an American on a repatriation flight had tested mildly positive for the virus and another had mild symptoms. Both were traveling in the plane's biocontainment unit out of an abundance of caution, and all 17 MV Angels passengers on board would undergo clinical assessments upon arrival in the U.S. The 2 new cases bring the total number of confirmed cases to 10. The World Health Organization has so far confirmed 2 deaths and 1 probable death, and as of Friday, 4 people were hospitalized with 1 in intensive care in South Africa. Meanwhile, the Philippine House of Representatives has voted overwhelmingly to impeach Vice President Sarah Duterte for the second time, even though her impending trial remains in question after her allies wrestled control of the Philippine Senate. A total of 257 out of 318 House members voted to impeach Duterte, far surpassing the 1/3 threshold required to send the complaints to the Philippine Senate. The impeachment votes is the last episode in the ongoing political feud between the Duterte family and incumbent President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., plunging the country into deeper political turmoil, even as it faces serious economic uncertainty due to the global energy crisis. The charges against Duterte include 2 violations of the Constitution and betrayal of public trust for misuse of confidential government funds, failure to disclose her wealth, bribery, and in relation to the death threat against Marcos, his wife Lisa Araneta, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. One of the most damning allegations in the complaint against the vice president includes private bank transactions flagged by the Anti-Money Laundering Agency of more than $110 million. And lastly, a body found in New South Wales is thought to be that of a man wanted over the murder of 3 people in a small Australian town in January. Julian Ingram was on bail for domestic violence offences at the time of the killings of his pregnant ex-partner, Sophie Quinn, her friend and her aunt in Lake Cargelligo, about 450 kilometers west of Sydney. All were shot. Police said today that a man's body, understood to be Ingram, was discovered beside an abandoned hut 50 kilometers northwest of where the murders happened. He was last seen on January 22, and police say the body appears to have been there for some time. It was discovered by wildlife officers out eradicating feral pests. Assistant Commissioner Andrew Holland told reporters they have confirmed the vehicle they found was the one driven by Ingram. On 22nd of January, Ingram allegedly shot dead his former partner, Sophie Quinn, a friend and a relative of Quinn. Quinn was reportedly 7 months pregnant and was due to give birth to a son in March. The shootings also seriously injured a 19-year-old man who has since been released from hospital, according to the police. Khadija Lawal, BCOS News.
To end the news around the world, here again are the main points. The federal government, in partnership with the European Union and the World Health Organization, on Monday launched a €4.2 million initiative to strengthen Nigeria's capacity to detect and respond to disease outbreaks. Suspected terrorists operating around the Dansadao axis of Zamfara State have ambushed commuters traveling along the Magami-Dansadao road, killing an unspecified number of travelers and abducting several others. We also told you that a French woman and an American man has tested positive for hantavirus infections as countries around the world repatriate passengers from a cruise ship hit by a deadly outbreak. BCOS TV is now on Niger TV app. and you can watch us from any part of the world. Also, BCOS website is live. Kindly visit www.bcostv.com. You can reach us on GoTV channel 134 and channel 113 on Star Times. Now, before I go, don't join hoodlums in threatening the peaceful coexistence of the country. It is only in an atmosphere of peace that development thrives. That ends the news around the world. Good evening, and thanks for watching.
Before, my family can go 1 week